So to my guests, thank you so much for coming on the show. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Ibani.
That ain't my name.
Ibani,
No,
Ebony,
Eboné.
Eboné. Sorry, Eboné.
I'm gonna
I
leave
think
that in there so people can hear you butchering my name.
I wasn't trying to butcher you. So what you got to remember, I'm an immigrant, so
Don't use that one. Come on.
that's all I got right now.
You've been in the States long enough.
I have.
Where you from?
I'm from a small country in the west coast of Africa called Cape Verde.
Mm-hmm.
Most people has never heard of it. It's 10 island, population about 500,000. There is more of us immigrated outside of Cape Verde than there is living.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for for the culture, one person that people would probably know, Amber Rose is half Cape Verdean.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then but I also feel like you used to live in Boston too, right?
That's where we immigrate to.
Okay. Why
Like we
Boston?
have we have our nightclubs there, we have our restaurants, we we even have politicians.
Mm-hmm.
There's a city in Brockton, which is in Massachusetts, close to Boston, just elected his first Cape Verdean mayor. We have a lot of great Cape Verdean policemen in the Boston
Oh
police
wow.
force. Yeah, we have a whole community there. We have our supermarkets. Um, it's just like how you would see, I don't know, Trinidadians in New York or Jamaicans in New
Yeah.
York, you know?
I didn't
We
think that they would go to Boston. I didn't know that. So that's something new.
Yeah, that's where they immigrated, and it goes back to the whaling
Hmm.
industry. So late 1800, early 1900s.
Oh wow. Well, listen, you get
Yes,
a history fact every time you're on the show. So look at that.
you learn something new every day, every show.
Every show. Well, I'm happy to have you on. I discovered your story. I think I found you on Instagram and then I just went
Mhm.
down a rabbit hole and then he was low key curving me, y'all. So I had to like follow up and be professional. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, if I could defend myself, I will. So let me know when I can defend
Go
myself
ahead.
to that.
Sorry. Defend yourself.
So I was not curving you.
I know
Um,
you wasn't. I'm just
I
playing.
I get tons of people reaching out to for me to, get interviewed and this
Hmm.
and that and the third. And sometimes I miss it. And sometimes I just did one. I'm not like some popular guy or famous guy or some rapper. I want the message to be out there.
Yeah.
So the last I think sit down I had was probably a few months back. So I wanted to sit down. I wanted that interview to sit down for a little bit
Yeah.
until I come. But then when I saw yours and I saw it was more mental health based, I said,
Hmm.
okay, we could go somewhere with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he didn't curve me, y'all. And I'm also very persistent. So I figured you was busy. And then also it's the holiday season. So I didn't think we was going to be able to do this conversation this soon. But here we are. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
So
having me.
of course. So when you look at what's happening right now with the opioid crisis, what stands out the most to you?
What stands out to me the most is Purdue Pharma.
Mm,
So I don't know how much people is educated with Purdue Pharma, but they introduce in the rap culture, this is what you would hear: perks, oxy,
right.
blues. It's all the same thing. Purdue Pharma came through to uneducated people with fraudulent like labs saying that it's non-addictive, and they just kept pushing it and pushing and pushing it, and it does do what it says that it do. It cures pain,
Right.
right? But there was a part that they left out, that it's very addictive.
Mm,
And everything that you see that's going on in America right now with the opioid crisis, Purdue Pharma is to blame. I know there's going to be some other people that says, "Well, I need my pain medication, and it's because of the junkies that it's so controlled now. Now it's harder for me to get my pain medication." No, greed is why you can't get your pain medication, because once the feds saw what was happening, they came down and cracked down,
mm-hmm.
and that's what you have today. The black market was created, and that's where you see the fentanyl, the fake perks, and all that, because the feds
Yeah.
was like, whoa, what is happening? So the mess that we have today Purdue Pharma. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And there's actually, for anyone that wants to be a little bit more educated with it, there's a lot of documentary on it. You could just do some research and you could have a better understanding on why that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Did you ever watch that show on Hulu? I think it was Michael Keaton was in it. He was a doctor, and at first he wanted to prescribe people with the medication because he was like, I don't know, it just don't feel right. And then
Mm-hmm.
he ended up getting hooked on it, and then they went down a rabbit hole. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that
Yeah.
show explains it perfect. And you can see how the sales rep for Purdue Pharma was so
Right.
persistent because,
Crazy.
um, whenever finances is involved, greed comes in and people neglect health and they just want to pay attention to their bank account.
Yeah. And then there
And
was
look at what our country is going through right now.
yeah. And then there was another documentary on Netflix where they had
Hmm.
like pill farms and stuff.
Hmm.
And they was selling like counterfeit pills and stuff. And I'm like, wow, like this is crazy.
That's how I got introduced to fentanyl. I know I just went so far so
I know.
quick, but I got introduced to fentanyl through a counterfeit perk.
Mm. So why do you think we're gonna talk about it later because I don't want to jump too far ahead, but
Hmm.
why do you think so many people don't realize they're being exposed to fentanyl until it's too late?
Well, the thing is, the feds cracked down on oxycodone perks. There's so much name for it, right?
Right.
And then what happens is a black market was created, and then they are selling counterfeits. It's like you trying to go to the Giants game and you're trying to get tickets and you buy your ticket and then you get to the door, you just find out you bought fake tickets and all of a sudden like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble.
Right.
It's the same concept.
Mm.
People got blinded. I want to say this is a hypothesis. 80% of people that's on fentanyl didn't get on it by trying fentanyl intentionally.
Mm.
It was all by mistake.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because what is so appealing about someone in the middle of the street like this?
With the nod.
There's nothing appealing about that.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing appealing about it.
Mm. You also have a conspiracy theory that you feel like fentanyl is coming from China or
Not
China's
that
responsible for it.
not, China is definitely responsible for it. I feel that China is using fentanyl as a weapon of war.
Mm.
It's again, it's a conspiracy theory. I don't have much to back it up. It's just a hypothesis of mine. But you go back in history and you see what America did to China back in the days. That
Right.
China was actually hooked on heroin because of America. And I believe China does not forget. So they play the long game.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you pay attention to the two type of people that hate America and American laws, is China and the cartels.
Mm-hmm.
So China is providing the cartel with the stuff to make the fentanyl because they couldn't get it, continue getting it straight directly into America. So they got it through Mexico, and then, you know,
Mm.
so
I
that's how
was
it's getting here.
I would say my conspiracy theory about this is I don't think it would have been a big deal if it didn't hit other races. I think that if this would have stayed with certain races, I think that they probably wouldn't have been I don't think that they would have gained so much support like they're giving now.
N- Um,
Because I think of opioid like the crack epidemic.
mhm,
Crack only affected certain people.
right.
But now we have this new drug and it's affecting everybody, and now it's a big deal. But drugs should be a big deal, period.
No, correct. And the whole race thing, it's very sensitive. It's
Right.
something that I've heard a lot of people saying these things. Like when it was the black community strung out on crack, y'all was throwing them in jail.
Right.
Now that it's affecting
The white community.
beyond the African American community, there seems to be more like people's paying more attention. Crack wasn't not killing people. Fentanyl is. I think
True.
Boosie said it. He was like,
What
crackhead
Lucy
was not
say?
dying.
I mean,
He
yeah,
said,
crackheads outlive a lot of people. That I do know.
he was like, crackhead was fixing your cars. There was getting you stuff for cheap. He was like, fentanyl addicts, they dropping like fly.
Yeah,
So for me, I would go more towards that it's life and death, where crack was probably just creating more crimes.
true.
Fentanyl is, you know how many future soldiers, future doctors, future sports people, future teachers that are no longer here with us?
Yeah,
When you have people dying at the level that fentanyl is killing people, people's going to pay attention. And I like to believe that race has nothing to do with it. Because how many people was dropping like flies in Harlem in the 1970s in the crack epidemic?
I mean, people were dying, but they wasn't dying as rapidly as people on fentanyl. That I do agree with.
Exactly.
Right,
Right. So that's my argument to why I think it's not solely focused on race.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty. You won that one. Okay, so take me back to where you grew up. Like, tell me about your environment, your household, your siblings.
Mhm.
Like, what was that like?
I mean, so I was born in Campana, Cape Verde. You probably don't know. No one's gonna know what that is. So I want you to imagine a village in the mountains of Cape Verde. Um, no running water, no electricity.
Hmm.
Live off the land. Um, so many uncles, aunts in the house.
Right.
Um, it- just not knowing what poverty is because you're not going, your stomach is not going without. You
Hmm.
have nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So it was just so peaceful and so much love. Like it crop season, the whole village comes together and they plant their whatever they got to plant, whether it's corn, beans, peanuts, mango, everything, and you just live off the land. And then
Mm.
the dream and like the fairy tale was immigrate to America, right? And then you would have the elders that's already had immigrated to Americas, and they would send drums on the boats. So that's what America was to us. You would see a piece of new clothing,
Hmm.
new sneakers that you've never seen. I mean, at the time, Cape Verde was a third world country. So in a village, probably one house had television, and then you
Mm.
would have 30 people go sit and watch the news or something like that.
Very close
So
knit.
yeah, I have memories dating back to maybe when I was 3 years old. I had a pet, a goat, a baby goat as a pet. And when people would that has immigrated out of the country, when they would come back to visit the village, people would feast for them.
Hmm.
And I remember I could not find my baby goat pet. And then
They ate it.
uh they ate my baby goat pet to where I will never eat. I'm traumatized. Anything that falls under that category,
Yo,
goat,
that is
lamb,
crazy.
I will, the smell of it just, it traumatized me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So, my grandfather was immigrated very early on, and he, took care of his kids back home and his grandkids. In
Hmm.
my village, we were one of the first house to have a bathroom with like toilet, bathtub, and everything. Everything else that we did, we would shower on the roof of the house out of a bucket. And
Oh,
then when you needed to
wow.
use the restroom, I remember being a kid, you go into the field and, there was no toilet paper. You would use a leaf or a rock. I have
You was a
memories of
leaf or
all
a
of this.
rock?
Yeah,
You was a rock to wipe your ass with?
I did.
And you got all the shit out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I have. So that's why I appreciate America so much, because
Mm,
to be able to um come from that and have memory of that, and
yeah.
then to be able in a place where I can say, Alexa, play Little Wayne, and it just poof, it goes on.
Yeah.
How could you not appreciate hard work, right? How could you not appreciate growth,
I would have used a leaf. Like a rock is like different.
you know? So,
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes you appreciate when you come from, but then also it
mhm,
makes you kind of miss those beginnings because everything was just so simple, you know?
right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Everything was so simple back then.
Wow. So there was also a situation when you was growing up that something traumatic happened to one of your siblings.
Yes. So that with you fast forward, that's after I immigrated to America.
Hmm.
And
But how was that? Were you nervous coming to America? Were you
no,
excited?
because so you got to remember, I was about 7 years old, and uh, in the mind of a 7 year old, America, it was like paradise in my head,
Yeah.
right? It was paradise because even when the people would go back to visit, their skin tone change. They wear
Yeah.
these new clothes, and everyone in the village is like showing them so much
Hairstyles.
love. So, being a kid, it was like you're going to paradise.
Yeah.
And then I remember from my island, uh, to go from Fogo to Praia, I mean, the plane must have been like a 15 passenger plane
Oh,
to where you
wow.
go to the US Embassy because my grandfather petitioned for all of us to come. So you would have to go through like doctors, do all the tests to make sure, you don't have anything that would prevent you from entering a country like America. So, and then after all that, it was done. And then South Africa airline, Boeing, and a 7 year old. And it's like, wow.
Right.
Oh my God. It was 2 floors. And the flight attendant automatically knew it was my first time that I'm
Mm.
immigrating. And then to take a kid that I played with scraps from whatever, those was my toys, right?
Right.
And then to take me to the cockpit of a plane like that. So it was like, wow. It was just, wow, was like the whole thing, the whole experience, everything about America was wow. And this is America in the 90s, right? This
Right.
is not America of today. America of the 90s, uh, one paycheck, you go so far,
Yeah.
you
One
know,
paycheck you can do a lot with.
right. So my family created, I don't want to say the word wealth, but they created a good financial stability or foundation.
Right.
Most 80 or 90% of my uncles and aunts that immigrated are homeowners, and they've built their homes back in our country to where
Right.
now we live in the cities and we have vacation houses and all these things, you know. I
Wait, so who
actually
was with you? Who was with you when you went to America? Was it like the entire family, or was your mom and them already over there?
So what happened is my grandfather came first, and then he
Hmm.
petitioned for my grandmother. And then the first in line who was able to come with the grandmother was my uncle and aunts that were under 21.
Mm.
So who stayed back in Cape Verde was my mom, my two uncles, and one of my other aunts because they was already of age. So when you're already of age, that petition takes longer. It could take 5 to 10 years.
Oh, damn, that's long.
Yeah. So when I immigrated, it was me, my mother, my uncle, two of my uncles, and one of my aunt and one of my cousin Vanilda. And we came to reunite with the younger siblings that was already here. They might have been here, I don't know, maybe 5 years.
Hmm.
And then so I want you to imagine this, right? Um, three deca in Boston, and my uncle Antonio, he had purchased a home because he knew we was all coming.
Hmm.
On each floor, you have an aunt or an uncle, and um, just so much love, like that 90s that we will never get. And
Yeah.
the doorbell ringing and you're not knowing who it is, but it's probably someone coming over to visit.
Right.
Just so
Like you
much
could just feel
love.
the love. Yeah.
Hmm. You could just feel the love. So immigrating to America from Cape Verde, it's a dream come true.
But did you have a hard time adjusting once you got to Boston?
Well, you got to remember, I was 7 years old, so at so young, a child's brain
It's still
adapts
developing.
faster.
Yeah.
It's still developing. That's why when I tell people that English is not my first language, they're like, what? Because I don't have an accent of like a person that immigrated from, Cape Verde, Africa. I don't, so it was not that challenging where I have aunts that immigrated in 1995 with me that can't carry a conversation in English because
Mm,
they was already probably like 30 years old and they went
right.
straight into factory work, but they're homeowners. And so, the American dream.
Yeah. Okay, so talk about because I know your brother passed away
Hmm.
when you were 16, right?
Yes. So that's when I had moved from New York. I used to live in New York with my uncle. He's a bishop, Bishop Angelo Barboza. His church is the Temple of Restoration. It's all around Brooklyn, Queens. I think every borough there's a temple. He has cathedrals and stuff.
Mm,
And um, I had moved from New York back to Boston, and my brother Damien was like 1 years old,
mm-hmm.
and my mom had just moved into that apartment, and so the furniture hadn't gotten there yet. So we had placed the television on top of a microwave stand, and then we got comforters and put it on the floor, and we were just watching TV. And you got to remember back, this is probably like 2003, maybe 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So you're dealing with cable, so cable wire was all around the house, and then my brother Damien was playing with it, and then he was just learning to walk, and then he was like trying to press the button on the TV, and the TV fell down and hit his chest, and the cable box hit his head.
Mm,
So again, I could talk about it so openly now, and
yeah.
because I processed in therapy, I believe therapy is the best medicine anyone
Yeah, I
can
know. I
can get.
agree. Therapy changed my life.
Yeah.
Like I
So
always advocate for therapy.
where before it was so hard for me to talk about this. Up until
Yeah.
5 years ago, I couldn't talk about watching my 1-year-old brother die right in front of me. And then when you show up to Sears to go pick up the pictures that you took for his 1 year birthday, you're using it for his funeral. It was tough for
Yeah.
me to talk about those things.
And I can only imagine during that time, you probably lost your faith.
That's when I my beef with God started
Yeah.
because I was brought up in a bishop home. He didn't have any kids at the time, so I was the first kid of the church. You
Mm-hmm.
know how the black church is. Everything is like under a microscope when you're the bishop's
Yeah.
family. Um, I had my dream was to be a pastor like my uncle.
Mm.
And when I moved back to Boston, even because he didn't die right away, they took him to the hospital. They was running a lot of surgeries, and I would go down in the chapel. I was fasting, and I'm like, this is just God testing my faith
Mm.
and all these things. And when this thing happened, you're like looking at homie upstairs,
Like, how could you
what
let
it
this happen?
like, how could you let
Right.
this happen? You're blaming God, not understanding, God works in mysterious ways. And who am I to question God? But try
Right.
telling that to a 16-year-old that was like, no, God is testing my faith.
Right. Right.
We're gonna get through this. I'm gonna, he's gonna see that I'm praying, I'm fasting, and we're gonna get through this.
And that'd be the hard part when you go through some shit. Like you be thinking like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and then when you don't get the results or the outcome that you
Hmm.
think you're supposed to get, oh man, it
Hmm.
hits you hard.
What?
Oh
It
my
scars
God.
you. It
Yeah.
scars you.
Facts, facts. So is that when you started to get into the drug game? Because I know on one of your interviews you were saying how you had like an infatuation with like drug dealers or just a lifestyle.
Um, so Little Wayne was my God.
Mm. What's your favorite Lil Wayne song?
Ah, what um it was all the songs from the mixtapes. It's been so long, but like the drought. What
Mm-hmm.
was those mixtape name? Look at that. I sound like
Not
I'm a
the
bad fan, like a bad fan now.
not the
Um,
Carter 3, Carter 2.
it was
The drought,
so
yeah.
the whole mixtape era when him
Mm-hmm.
and Joel Santana and all that.
You don't listen to him
So,
no more?
hmm?
You don't listen to him no more?
No, I've not that I don't listen to him anymore.
The
I
music
mean,
not hidden.
it, stuff's changed,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, I mean, every now and then, I'll throw a little Wayne song on, and then I'll even notice the way I'm driving starts to change. You know what I mean?
That energy come in, right?
Yeah. It's like if I listen to NBA YoungBoy, I catch myself shooting a gun that I don't own.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
That's a
um,
fact.
music has so much influence on us that I'm not here blaming Wayne at all to how my life went. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? You know, he he did his music, and it's up to the person to digest it. He was telling his story. He was not sitting here telling me, "Pretty, go do this or go do that." But Wayne had a big inspiration into the way I started to party, and you know like I got into it. So I always tell people I'm far from a gangster,
Right.
but I'm a real street nigga. Excuse my
Right.
French.
Okay. Because I say nigga too, so we can say nigga.
Yeah. I don't know your audience and all that, so I want to be
Yeah.
as respectful as possible.
Now get your shit
But
off, pretty.
I was never the dude that's gonna go pick up a gun and ride out on anyone.
Right.
But I'm gonna run up a bag, you
Right.
know. And if I feel like I'm paying too much in Boston for weed, this is when we're going back like Purple Haze days. The weed where it was like
Hmm.
6K a pound. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, so you figure out if you could go to Miami, because Miami was like the hub for the Purple Haze era, and you
Hmm.
could link up with a plug over there, and you could get it for whatever 32, and then down 95, I-95, and double up.
Right.
So I got heavy into that. I started moving weed heavily, and then I got into the you know, people might say I'm a hypocrite, but I started pushing the perk 30s as well.
Mm.
And in Miami, that's where the pill mill was at. You
Hmm.
get a doctor to write you a script, and you start to figure these things out. So I just got money fast, and I was moving 100 miles an hour. In the nightclub, this is when True Religion was like the only
You
jeans
know,
that could
niggas used
touch
to
my
love
body.
True Religion.
What? True Religion jeans and a polo tee,
Right. Polo
and
boots.
yup, and the Gucci belt. You couldn't tell me anything. And
That's
I'm
a
in the
fact.
club blowing hella money. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It was good times. It was definitely good times. You know. Mid 2000 was definitely good times.
So when did you start using perks? Like, how were you introduced to it?
I got into a motorcycle accident in 2006.
Hmm.
And again, I believe that America did not have the knowledge then that they have today on the dangers of the oxycodone.
Mm.
And the doctors, I couldn't walk for 6 months. They prescribed me
Damn.
Oxycontin. They prescribed me Vicodins. They prescribed me so much things. And then your body just becomes immune to it, to where if you don't have it, huh,
Mm.
you will sell your soul for the next pill.
Right.
Because what Oxycontin is, what again, you're gonna hear me calling it different things just because different people call it perks, oxy, blues, perky,
Hmm.
erky. It's all the same thing.
Right.
It's heroin in a pill form.
That's so
And
scary.
and that's what Purdue Pharma did not tell people,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
So what would you say, when did you say when you started to become addicted to it?
Um hmm. I started to become addicted to perks. I want to say 7, 8 months after the accident,
Mm.
but at this point, I'm deep into the street game. I'm moving hella perks. 1,000, we used to call it a boat. So I was moving 4, 5, 6 boat a week. So you're not paying attention that you got an addiction because, first of all, you don't consider it a drug, it's a pill. I'm
Right.
looking at it like it's just a better Tylenol or a better Advil.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, Little Wayne's coming through the speaker. I'm a pill popping animal,
Right.
and you just going with,
Like
with,
you
with
couldn't tell you
life.
nothing. Right.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me anything. I'm a young 22, 23, whatever at the time, and I'm running up a bag. Um,
What's the most money
I'm
you made?
You know how people will exaggerate when you ask them that question?
OD.
Right.
Like
Um,
nigga, I made it. Like nigga, stop.
yeah. For a young man like myself, I was definitely playing with close to 100,000 around. You know what I'm saying? You
That's
could
good
re up on
though.
30, 40, 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, then you can, I'm looking at if you can make 25 to $30,000 a month back in,
That's
you know, two,
fire.
2008, 2010, you know, that's the type of money I was touching. I was not no like kingpin running
Right.
up hundreds of thousands of dollars. No.
That's still a lot of money though for back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. For my age, I was definitely touching paper. I could go to a nightclub and drop $4 or $5,000 and it didn't affect me.
Right. So when you was outside and you was dealing drugs and perks and whatever the case may be, did you ever hear of fentanyl by this time or?
No, I didn't even know what that was.
Mm.
I didn't know what that was.
So how were you introduced to it? I know you said you were introduced to a counterfeit pill, but what was going on with the prescriptions at the other places that you wasn't able to get it?
So the feds cracked down on it. They saw that America is strung out and they
Mm-hmm.
seen where the problem came. So they cracked down on scripts. Like for now, for you to get, again, I feel so bad for those people
Who
that
really need
need the
it?
pills and they need pill management. I am not to blame. They are the real victim here
Mm.
because they really need that. And because of Purdue Pharma not letting the doctors know that this thing is so addictive, and doctors, you go to the ER with a back pain, you can walk out with Percocets.
Because how can you see pain?
You can't see pain,
Right.
and I had a lot of pain. you know.
Wait, so who was
So
the guy you purchased the pills from? Like, did you
So
know
at
him
this
or?
point, once the pill mill in Miami shut down, you start dealing with connects, right?
Right.
And they get in it, whatever, however they doing it. One day I just got a batch and the stuff looked similar. You're not thinking, but when I took it, I got super high. And then my
Mm.
body rejected it instantly. But I got super high. I really enjoyed that high that I didn't want that high to go away.
Mm.
And then you just continue going, and then the next time I bought more, like probably I don't know another 2,000 because I was still shaking, and I did it. It didn't take my pain away. I did two, three, four. I remember one day I was coming from Stoughton driving back into Brockton. Within a span of 20 minutes, I popped like 13 pills, Perk 30. These are 30 milligrams. These are so strong. It did not touch me. And then I remember I had gave someone the other batch, and I told him if he had it. He said yes, and I said I'm gonna go switch these, and that's when I found out I was given counterfeit perks that was pressed with something. I didn't even know it was fentanyl at that time.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
And how did you feel? Like, what were you thinking?
Oh, I was thinking like Jesus Christ that my uncle was preaching to me that was coming back. I was feeling like every time I took it, he touched me. I felt like Jesus came.
That is crazy.
Hmm.
Oh my God. So what did peak addiction look like for you? Like, do you remember being so far gone that you were just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here much longer?
Yes. So, in the beginning, I told you that I'm not some gangster. I was just
Right.
a street nigga. So, I frequent nightclubs. And I was not some disrespectful ass dude. I was brought up by my grandparents, so I have great upbringing. I was very respectful, very well known individual in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Cape Verde is such a tight knit community. Everyone knows everyone. I gained popularity just because of you're blowing money fast, you're living fast. But I was not like some egotistic dude. And once fentanyl came into the picture, I became a slave
Mm.
to fentanyl. And I always say, when my master called, I answered at any cost.
Mm.
So fentanyl stripped me from myself. It stripped me from society. If I had fentanyl in a pack of Newports, I didn't need anyone and I didn't need anything. It was
Mm.
like a warm blanket in New York wintertime.
Damn.
Yeah.
And what was your family thinking? Like, were they aware of the drug use, or were they like, what's going on with him? Like,
My family was like, there was not knowledgeable in the
right,
extent of the drug use. They didn't, they knew something was off, but they couldn't pinpoint it because it's not like I had cousins that was doing it. It was just me. And I was kind of the black sheep of the family already. Like, oh, pretty, that's just, he sells drugs, he does this, he's a rock star, blah, 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 blah. They
right,
couldn't pinpoint it. But I was married, lost that.
yeah,
I try to run a legitimate life. I opened a commercial cleaning company. I lost that. Um, I got evicted from luxury apartments. I used to have an apartment at the Avalon.
mm,
Um, Lost that. You just keep downgrading and downgrading and just giving and giving and giving. If you notice, I didn't say that fentanyl robbed me. I gave it.
yeah,
I gave all these things up. I gave into my master because I became a slave to it. And peak addiction, my name is Pretty, for God's sake. I could go 10 days without taking a shower. And
mm.
if I have some axe, bought myself another 5 days, baby.
right.
You know? So I became someone that I didn't know who I was,
Yeah. And I can
you
only
know?
imagine the lies that you would tell yourself to make yourself believe that it's not as bad as it is.
Yeah, you would negotiate with yourself like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It was bad. It was hell on earth.
Mm,
No one wanted, first of all, I didn't even go out like that because isolated. Now my mental health is is done for.
right,
Now you're contemplating suicide. And now fear of judgment. You don't know how to ask for help because people's gonna look at you like, what?
right.
So you deny, 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 deny.
Mm,
And then fentanyl brought me to my knees where I had no more hustle.
yeah.
So I didn't even know how I was gonna get my next fix.
Mm,
It's not like I was one of those people that could go into a store and steal something and go sell it because everybody knew me. So, my ego was so big. I can't, you
right.
know,
Pride won't let you show it.
pride won't let me show it. So I'm not going to no store steal nothing. I'm gonna die on this couch,
Right.
but you start to try to do this, reach out to this. Hey, let me get $40 for whatever. You make up lies and this and that. You just run out of options, man. Um, to be able to suffer in silence and to not know that there's a solution, it is the worst pain any human can go through.
Yeah.
And me being a black man, I personally came out with my story because I know there's so much men and women in our community that is
That's suffering
suffering
alone.
that does not know that there's a way out of that situation.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
mean,
didn't need to go out and talk about this. I didn't,
yeah.
but I kept thinking after I got saved from the shackles of addiction, I started to think back of how lonely I was and how
Yeah.
I wish someone told me, like, hey, there's rehab, there's
Hmm.
professional help, there's resources out there,
Yeah.
but no one told me.
But I think that's the beauty of when people say your life is not your own.
Mm-mm.
So it's like when you go through all these things, you're not going through it for you, you're going through it for the next person to give them hope that they
Right.
can too come out on the other side.
Mm-hmm. I strongly believe that God did not allow me to go through all those. I mean, I've gone through a lot, right? Um, obviously, maybe from this interview, people could go see my other interviews I've done and they could get more in depth
Hmm. Well, you
stories
also
of
overdosed too, like 3 times.
hell yeah. I've
Yeah.
overdosed. I've been Narcan 3 times. And none of those time was the last time. That's the sad thing. That's
Yeah.
the insanity that comes with it. You follow?
Yeah. I was listening to one of the interviews, and you were saying how you overdosed in your mom's arm. And then when you came back, you saw that you had socks on. And you was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit. So you went back in the bathroom and did another line or something. I'm like,
Did
wow.
another line of fentanyl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, like drugs would really just have you like you gone.
I mean, listen, addiction is a disease.
Yeah.
That is a fact. No one chooses to wake up. And again, people that hasn't personally gone through it or lack of education on this cause, on this situation, won't understand it.
Right.
But it's been proven, it's been studied that addiction is a disease of the mind.
It
The
is.
same way a woman that has breast cancer is not by her choice, is the same way me that represent as an addict is not by my choice.
Right.
It's a disease of the mind. The only difference is there's a solution, right? There's a
Mhm.
solution that I feel like the sun is popping back up and you can't really see me.
No, I can see you.
There's a solution for me today, right?
Hmm.
And I live in it daily. And I always tell people that the substance is not the problem.
Hmm.
Because when you relapse, you make a sober decision to go back to the substance.
Right.
So something that's not in your body cannot be the problem.
Yeah.
Are you following?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a lack of discipline.
It's once you get to that place, it becomes a daily thing. People
Yeah.
tell me, like, yo, Pretty, were you never gonna drink again? Because I don't represent as an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict,
Hmm.
right? But I haven't touched alcohol for as long as I haven't touched fentanyl. The last time I did fentanyl was um July 2020,
Mm.
right? And
Damn, that was
it
during the pandemic.
yeah, I got sober during the pandemic.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to,
I thought
hmm?
this was earlier. I didn't know it was 5 years ago, damn near. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just celebrated 5 years. Like for me, it's a miracle to not touch fentanyl for 5 years. I couldn't go
Yeah.
3 hours.
Damn.
And you're talking 5 years.
How does your family feel? Like, do y'all have conversations about that? Like, especially with you and
Oh,
your mom and you overdosing in her arms? Like, what are those conversations like?
they reminisce every time I'm around family member, somehow, some way, my story ends up coming up. It's like the topic of the conversation, right? Or the
Right.
conversation of topic or whatever. And um, for me to see the pain that I put them through, but then for me to see how proud they are of the man I am today,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I do a lot now. There's so much that I do that sometimes I'm like am am I really doing this? Do I really like, because I do so much
Mm-hmm.
that my best explanation is God.
Yeah.
Because I don't I don't have a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm a business owner. And it's like, what?
Right.
Like, I was stealing 5.5 years ago to get high off of fentanyl.
Mm.
And today I employ people. Like that, there's no better explanation than
But
God.
God, yeah. But that's all I always say. God is always with you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
God is always with you because it could always be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm. I remember one of the things I could remember my uncle preaching was the Bible says if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move a mountain.
Mountain, that's a fact.
And I didn't understand it then. But when I began my sobriety journey, my faith was as small as this mustard seed.
Yeah.
And my accomplishment today is as if I've moved a mountain.
So how did you get into recovery? Like, what was that like? Did somebody
Um,
introduce you to it or?
yeah. So I have a childhood best friend, June. He lived in Los Angeles, and
Mm-hmm.
my family sent me to Phoenix, Arizona, to a Christian-based program. It was just not a good fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and badmouth the place. It was just not a good fit, and I end up escaping 5 days in.
Y'all nigga was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. So I escaped 5 days in, and then I came to Los Angeles. I had never been to Los Angeles. My
Mm,
childhood best friend, June Freedom, who happens to be a phenomenal singer. He's my favorite artist, by the way. This is not a shout out or nothing. He's like an
mm-hmm.
established artist. He's like with Empire and has like million monthly listeners. But I'm saying all that to say this. He was like, "You're not an addict like those people." I'm like, "No, I'm not." He was in the middle of like releasing a single or a music or whatever he was doing. Took him 24 hours to find out that I'm a full blown junkie and I am
Mm.
worse than those people he thought I was not.
Wait, well, how did he find out? Like, was you like stealing or was you
I
ODing?
was not stealing. He had a dog named Ninja. I'm walking the dog every 2 hours
On some crackhead shit.
on some crackhead shit because I've never had to score drugs, regardless
Mm.
of, I was always well connected. I knew somebody and it was woo, woo, woo. But to walk the street of California, try to find fentanyl,
Yeah.
me and my boy Ninja down Tarzana.
Poor ninja.
Poor Ninja.
Nigga didn't know what was going on. He just was going for a
What?
walk.
Man, I ended up, that's how you know that when, like, the devil had my soul.
Mm.
The environment I'll allow myself to be in to score drugs, you wouldn't pay me enough to go there with a gun today,
Oh wow.
you know? It was all bad, just
Mm.
all bad.
So he was doing the music. He finally came to the conclusion that okay, we have a problem here. So was he the one that introduced you to rehab or?
No, he remembered he had met someone 6 months prior, and he remembered from conversating with this guy. His name is Gil. That the guy had been sober for 33 years.
Oh wow.
And then he called this guy and told him everything I just told you. The guy said, "Bring him here."
Mm.
When I got there, I want you to imagine yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you've been living in China for 10 years and no one spoke English
Mm.
and you do not understand Chinese. In those 10 years, you just in existing in China.
Right.
And then someone comes and taps your shoulder. "Hey, my sister, how are you?"
Mm.
After 10 years, you're like,
What? Right.
"What?" This guy, Gil, started to speak to me in a language that I finally understood. It is a person that had gone through what I was currently going through.
Mm.
And then from that day on, I took direction from him thoroughly. I didn't dilute it. If you go to IKEA, if you notice, they have these stages that they have these nice things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way that they decorate the bed and everything that attracts you to it.
Right.
And then you go downstairs and you get this box. It's like, wait, where's the bed? It's
Right.
like, it's in the box.
You gotta put it together.
Now, it is up to you to follow those directions. And if you follow those direction thoroughly, you're going to get the result of the bed that you saw on the show floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted what Gilly had.
Mm.
And I've been taking direction from him since July 2020.
Wow.
I went to a rehab called Chabad Treatment Center. Listen, there's so much happening in the world today with and I don't get into politics, I don't get into religion,
Same.
but
It's a lot going on though.
there's a lot going on. My opinion of the Jewish community, it is completely different than what the media is portraying them to be,
Mm.
because they saved my life. They took me into their rehab, and the way they made me felt part of them. I had been lost, and I look like a terrorist if you look at me thoroughly. And for these Jewish people at Chabad to just take me in at
Right.
my lowest and just make me feel part of them. And man, I go to so much Shabbat dinners. I go to so much bar mitzvah.
I know you
My
be
opinion,
turning up.
but they are great people, man. Um,
Yeah.
and it breaks my heart that a lot of people that have opinion of the Jewish community is solely based upon the propaganda on
Mm-hmm.
social media. You follow?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too deep into it, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that I believe if the world are able to get an experience with the Jewish community, that they will have a different opinion about them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think social media
Mm-hmm.
and everything that's going on in the world really plays a role in how we treat each
Mm-hmm.
other. I think that
Yeah.
if we remove all of that and get back
Mm-hmm.
to what's important, which is love,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the world will be a better place. So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. So it just breaks my heart that all this hatred is going on. Again, I'm not here to discredit what's
Yeah.
happening on the other side. I'm not here to do none of that. What I'm saying is my experience with the Jewish community, it is the
Mm-hmm.
complete opposite of what the media is portraying today.
Yeah.
And the Chabad community are amazing people. They are my second. I don't have family in Los Angeles.
Mm.
Thanksgiving dinner, I go to their house.
Yeah.
You know, it's Hanukkah. I'm gonna be going there. You know,
Right.
um,
I mean, they're
they're
your
my
community. Yeah.
they're my community, and they took me in when I felt this small. My
Yeah.
mentor believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself.
Mm.
He thought for me when I couldn't think for myself.
Mm.
And he didn't know me. I'm not of his kind.
Right.
Yesterday we was having a conversation and we was talking about, different things. He said, "Man, Pretty, I saw something in you that you was not able to see in yourself."
And that's all it takes is somebody to see you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Gil is so how can I put this? Because the way what he did for me and the way he would go visit me at the rehab when I was there, bring me cigarettes, I was a complete stranger to him at that time.
Mm,
And he had only met my boy June one other time.
mm,
And he's a very busy individual.
right.
And then, like, I would ask him, how can I ever repay you back? You know what this guy would say?
Stay sober.
Stay sober and just do it for someone else.
Yeah.
I'm like, there got to be a catch.
Yeah.
You understand? And guess what? Today, I've done it for a lot of someone else's.
Yeah. Because you own recovery homes now, right? Or
I own,
sober living
I
homes?
yes, I own sober living homes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know this, but I also own a medical facility. I own a detox.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Nice.
I remember
That's really dope.
I called mom about 5 months ago. I said, Mom, I said, maybe you had a dream of me going to college and being a doctor or a nurse. And I said, unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. I said, but today your son's in a position that I employ nurses and doctors. And I didn't say that from an egotistic place.
Mm-hmm.
I just said that so my mom could get an idea of her son's achievement.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah. That's so dope.
It's amazing. I mean, 5.5 years ago, give or take, I was stealing to get high.
Yeah.
Today, um, I'm also the brand ambassador of many different other detoxes,
Mm-hmm.
but I also own one of mine as well.
Good
And
for you. I'm proud of
um,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
Thank you.
dope.
And to be able to personally see someone come broken
Yeah.
and for me to be that person like, hey, I know what you're feeling. I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
If you do this, it's going to be all right because I'm a living testimony of sobriety.
Yeah. And also
I'm a
you are
living
physical,
testimony of a person that's gone through what you're about to start going through.
but you're also a physical manifestation of hope. Like people can actually see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not no hoax. I always tell people, I'm not some guy that went to Harvard and studied addiction on
Right.
brain from a guinea pig. No, I'm the guy that stole to get high. I'm the
Right.
guy that did not take showers for 10 days. And if I had Axe, I'm going another 5. You understand what I'm saying? So if I can do it, I believe anyone can. And
Yeah.
not everyone has to. What do I define as success in sobriety? Not materialistic stuff, not a business owner, not employing people. Inner peace.
Yeah.
Inner peace is priceless.
Yeah. So we're almost finished, but looking back
Mhm.
of your entire life and all the things that you accomplished and all the things that you're not proud of, what did forgiveness look like for yourself?
Forgiveness for myself look like, um, wow, that's a deep question.
Have you forgiven yourself?
I have,
Okay.
but I want to know what it looks like though. I want to know how can I articulate the words for you. It looks like not being so hard on myself anymore.
Yeah.
And it looks like when things get difficult, I'm like, I have the blueprint of like, it's okay. It's temporarily.
Right.
You're gonna get through this, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. And last but not least, what would you say to someone who feels trapped in addiction right now?
Mm. You are not alone. that feeling that you get from those drugs is as fake as those Louis Vuitton bags from Canal Street. It is not real.
Facts. I don't care how good it looks.
I don't care how good it looks.
Facts.
It is not real.
Mm.
Life is pretty on the opposite side of addiction. And if you want help, there's resources everywhere. And personally, on coming on the 2026, I have I just got out of a meeting yesterday to where people are going to be able to go to lifeispretty.com, and you're going to be able to reach out and see how you could be part of what I have going on. How can I be of service to them? Right? Because a lot of people, once you search rehab.com, you call and like, yeah, $50,000, $70,000. Like, oh my God, no, I'd rather continue doing drugs.
Yeah.
No, but there's resources everywhere out there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I tell people all the time, addiction is expensive. Sobriety is free,
Facts.
you know. Um, so
That
uh
is
I'm
true.
I'm excited for what I got going on and to share to the world coming up in 2026. This is going to be a platform that anyone that's out there struggling, they could just go there and they will have a representative reach out to them and
Mm-hmm.
see how we could be able to help them start their journey of sobriety.
Yeah. Well, however I can support, definitely keep me posted. I'm so happy that we were able to make this. And I always tell people like stories like yours is the epitome of why I create this platform. Because I always tell
Mhm.
people your storyline is someone else's lifeline. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you for having me. Sorry I took a little bit longer to get to you, but I believe God moves in mysterious ways. And it was not on our time, it was
It was
in
on
his time.
absolutely. And tell everyone where we can follow you at, we can support you at, when the website's gonna be up.
Yeah, you can follow me at Yo Pretty F. That's how you know I was a big Lil Wayne fan.
I know. When I found you, I was like, yo, this name.
So YO and then PRETTYF, and that's my Instagram, and that's my Twitter, that's my what's the other
TikTok.
TikTok. Everything is Yo Pretty F. Or you could just Google me, Pretty Brandao. I'm sure you'll put my name in the
Mm-hmm.
description. And yeah, or ask ChatGPT about who Pretty Brandao is, and they'll just give it to you all over there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pretty Brandao. And he called
Thank you for
me
having me. What I
Ebony.
call you?
Ebony. What you call me? Ebony.
Listen,
You call me some
listen.
crazy shit.
I'm an immigrant. Forgive
You've
me.
been in this country long enough. Stop it.
Forgive me.
But if y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to email me at hello@thephgpodcast.com. And until next time, everyone,
Thank you.
later.
Love is love.
You gonna say bye?
Yalla. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.